All right, how's it going, everybody? Today I'll be showing you how to replace the front brakes on a Gen 2 Mazda 3. This is specifically a 2012 model, but it'll work for any Generation 2. Should be a very similar process for the Gen 1 as well. Basic tools, you're gonna need a ratchet, something maybe with a little bit of extra length to get the lug nuts off is always a good idea. A breaker bar would also work. And then you're gonna want a torque wrench that goes up to about 75 or 80 foot-pounds and as low as 20. So torque wrench, ratchet. As far as specific socket sizes you're gonna need a 21 millimeter for the lug nuts. You're gonna need a 17 millimeter socket for the brake caliper bracket bolts. And then you're gonna need a 7 millimeter hex for the slide pins. An extension is always nice to have for tight to reach places. You're gonna need a brake disc spreader to compress the piston back into the caliper. Some wire brushes such as these, or a little wire wheel to attach to your drill to clean up the mating surface for the brake rotor. You're gonna need some brake cleaner, and you're gonna need some brake parts grease. Finally, in terms of parts, you're gonna need new brake pads, and you're gonna need a new rotor if you're doing the rotor as well too. And then obviously to lift the car, you're gonna want some wheel chocks and some jack stands along with a floor jack. So let's get into the process. So first thing we need to do is we need to lift the car. Now I do have the car on some low profile ramps. You don't need those. I like them to make it a little bit easier to see what I'm doing. I'll show you exactly where the lift point is once I have this car lifted, but you do have a front central jack point, which is really nice. You can lift both front wheels up at the same time. However, before we do that, if you do not have an impact wrench, you're going to want to loosen the lug nut. So let's actually do that real quick, and then we'll go ahead and lift up the car. So here we can see where I have the floor jack placed on the subframe right there. You can see there's a flat spot. I will put an image of the diagram to show you, but that is where you're gonna put your floor jack and lift up, and you'll get both sides of the car lifted at the same time, which makes life real nice and easy. Now we have the front end lifted, you're gonna go ahead and put your chocks under the wheels. Both front and rear is always a good idea, so it's not gonna move forwards or backwards. And then we're gonna go ahead and put our jack stands under the pinch welds. Pinch weld is right here. You'll see two little kind of protruding pieces of metal. This is the area that is reinforced where you're gonna put your jack stand. A good idea is to buy this sort of pinch weld adapter for a jack stand, which fits on the saddle right here. Kind of protects your pinch weld a little bit, not necessary, but I like them. They're cheap. I'll put a link down below for this specific one. Fits on top of your jack stand. We're then gonna go ahead and place our jack stand underneath the pinch weld, just like so. And then we'll repeat on the other side. Make sure it is gonna land, the pinch weld's gonna land inside the adapter. Now we can go ahead and lower the car down onto the jack stands, keeping an eye that they are both centered, that they're staying on all four legs, not tilting. And then once we have the car down, I will reapply a little bit of pressure with the floor jack onto the cross member to make sure that we have three places where the car is lifted. And now we have the floor jack under the cross member right here. Again, you can see that area where you're jacking it up from. And then we have our jack stand in the pinch weld with the pinch weld adapter protecting the car a little bit. And then we have our wheel chocks on either side of the wheels. Last thing we want to do, we're not getting fully under the car, but it's always good practice to make sure you're absolutely safe to get under it if you need to. I'm going to go ahead and just push on the car, and I'm actually going to push, like not just lightly. You want to try to kind of push the car off the jack stands to make sure that it's safe. So a little bit from this angle, a little bit from the back too. And if the car is not moving, you're safe to get under it. Now that we have the lug nuts loose, we can go ahead and remove them the rest of the way and take the wheel off of the car. All right, now we can remove our wheel. And then just for an extra layer of safety, we're gonna go ahead and put it under the car just in case the jack stand were to fail, like so. So now behind the caliper, we have the slide pins that are underneath these little rubber kind of cylinders here. There's a cap on it, might be missing on the other side, it was missing. Just gonna pull that off like this, okay? There's one at the top, one at the bottom, a little bit hard to see, but it's down here. So pull those off. Inside here, there's a 7mm hex that we're going to have to loosen. So again, 7mm socket, stick that in there, and then we're going to loosen. So let's get the first one. And they shouldn't be on too tight. I believe the torque spec is about 20 foot-pounds. So, and then we'll do the bottom one. Sometimes they're loose, but you gotta kind of pull them through the rubber. So neither of those pliers work well. Just pull them out. And there is one of your slide pins. Repeat on the bottom. There we go. Now we have this spring right here, which is holding our brake pads in. So I'm just gonna pull it out with some needle nose pliers and it should come right out like so. And now our caliper should be loose. So we should be able to just lift off this section of the caliper and the brake pads might stay there. One might stay on, that's okay. And I'm just gonna put it right here for now, out of the way. If you have a hanger to hang it off of your springs, that would be a good idea. But for now, I'm just gonna put it here. You just don't want it hanging by the brake hose because that would be potentially damaging to it. Take off our old brake pad, sort of inspect. This one still had a little bit of life left, but I think it's time for some new ones. Now, it's always a good idea when you're recompressing the piston, because it's gonna build up hydraulic pressure, it's a good idea to just open up the brake fluid reservoir because we're gonna get some, air bubbles and, we're gonna get some pressure buildup here. So just leave it open like this. Maybe put a rag underneath it in case you catch any spills or you have any spills. But this prevents any sort of, pressure buildup within the system that might cause some damage. And then before we remove this inner brake pad, we're gonna use it to compress the caliper piston. So I'm gonna take my brake pad spreader and we're just gonna push up against the old brake pad. And this one works by just turning this big screw and you'll see the piston start to retract into the caliper. And you're just gonna go until you feel resistance and it stops moving. It'll be pretty obvious when you've reached the end of it. And there we go. No more movement. Remove our tool. And then we can pull out this old brake pad. There's sort of a three-pronged clip that holds it into the piston, so it might be a little tough to get out, but just pull forward, and there you can see that clip. And now this caliper can be moved out of the way. I just use these two little pieces right here and hook it onto the strut like this and keep it out of the way. Next up, we need a 17mm. There are 2 bolts back here which hold this bracket onto the rotor. And this is gonna allow us to take the rotor off. These are gonna be on here, I believe 55 to 80 foot-pounds, so they're gonna be on a little bit tighter. So you're gonna want either a breaker bar or an extension on your ratchet. And here we have our brake bracket. Take that off. Now, if you don't live in the Rust Belt, this will come right off like so. And that is our old rotor. So we're gonna put that to the side. Now, before we put the new rotor onto the hub, you're gonna wanna get all of this kind of surface rust off, or at least as much of it as you can, because that could potentially make the rotor not mate perfectly flat to the hub surface. So a little wire brush like this works. You just wanna take some time and kind of go around and get all that gunk off. If you have it, a little wire wheel like this on a drill also works really well, just to kind of speed up the job here. And then some brake cleaner just to get all that gunk off. All right, so now we can go ahead and get our new rotor. Now, as you notice here, there's quite a bit of grease on this rotor, which is how they ship it from the factory to keep it from rusting on the shelf. And we're gonna wanna get all that off before we install this rotor, otherwise it's gonna contaminate our brake pads. So, brake parts cleaner, and then a shop towel. And you're gonna wanna be rather thorough here because any grease on here is liable to contaminate those brake pads. Give it a flip. You see just how greasy this side is. Now I'm gonna grab a new towel, clean one, and go over it just one more time. We'll do a final pass when it's on the car, but we wanna be as clean as possible here. All right, now we can put our rotor onto the hub, like so. Now we can put the bracket back onto the hub here. Before we do so, I'm gonna put a little bit of red Loctite on these caliper bolts. Some people use blue. I like red because I really don't want this coming off when I'm driving, and it might be a little bit harder to get it off, but I'm okay with that. Just a little bit on the threads there. And then we're going to screw these guys back on. And then these get torqued down to 55 to 80 foot-pounds. I'm gonna do about 65, kind of somewhere in the middle there. We're gonna get our new brake pads. Now, if your gloves are greasy or dirty, I would take them off or change them. Mine are clean, I'm being careful here. But what you really don't wanna do is you don't wanna touch the actual braking surface of the brake pad with greasy gloves or hands or whatever. So clean hands are important here. These are sometimes a little bit difficult to fit in there. You just wanna kind of get one started, and then the other ones should follow. You can kind of push them in with your fingers on the side. There we go, that's one. Then you're gonna take a little bit of brake parts lubricant and you just wanna lube up the sort of ears here. Now you definitely don't wanna get any on the braking surface, but just a little bit on where it's going to fit onto the bracket. So just a little bit like that. Again, being very careful not to get anything onto the actual braking pad surface. We're gonna take the other brake pad and repeat over here with just a little bit of grease on the sort of ear right here. I like to just fit this into the bracket already up against the rotor like so. And then I will pull the whole piston over it like this. And there we go. Now we're gonna take our slide pins and we're just gonna clean them off a little bit, make sure that there's no rust on there or anything like that. And then just a thin coating of brake grease on the actual slide portion. And again, a little bit goes a long way here. We don't need to completely slather it. Then we'll take our 7mm, kind of insert it like so. And then it's a little hard to show you, but you're gonna be working inside that rubber boot again. You need to sort of find where it mates up with the piston. So it's a little bit of trial and error, but it will eventually sort of click into place once you're there. All right, so once you get this top one kind of started, then I find it easy to put the second one in. Again, sort of locating that rubber boot and then going in. Get that one started. Just want to make sure that it's actually threading in. So it takes a little trial and error, a little wiggling until it should click into place. And these get torqued to 22 foot-pounds. So I'm just gonna grab my torque wrench and we're gonna torque this down. 1, 2. Then we're gonna take our little caps and just slide those back onto the little rubber boot there. Top one too, pop that in. We're gonna grab our new hardware here, just this one spring. We just need one of these. So the easiest way for me is to put the top one in here into the little hole there and then kind of hold it. And then you want to try to get the second one in the hole. And then you gotta lift this guy over like so. There we go. Now that we have everything put back together, it's a good idea just to give everything one last little clean with brake cleaner to make sure we didn't leave any grease on there. Just go through with a clean towel. Now we're gonna go ahead and we can close off the brake fluid reservoir. You can see here that the level did rise a little bit, so you could siphon out a little bit just to be safe. I'm done, so I'm just going to close it off here, and that should be good, but just make sure that it's closed off before you drive anywhere. Now we're gonna put our wheel back on. So let's just roll that back over here. There we go. You always want to put these on with your hands first. Make sure you're not cross-threading them because it's really easy to cross-thread these. All right, and then once you have them all on loosely threaded, but on a few threads to make sure they're spinning on smoothly. We can use electric tools if we have them just to get these snug. We don't have to go all the way tight yet. We're gonna do that on the ground. I wanna make sure that it's on and not rattling too much. If it's rattling a little bit, make sure it's fully tight there so that, there we go. All right, now we can go ahead and lift the car, remove the jack stands, and drop the car back down onto the ground. There's one more step we need to do, so don't click off the video just yet. Now we want to torque the lug nuts on. These are going to be 80 to 108 foot-pounds. I usually do about 85 to be safe. Now, you're going to want to do this in a star pattern, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You don't want to go just all the way 1 because it might be attached a little bit askew. So I'm just going to go with this first one and kind of get it snug, maybe 2 or 3 turns. Then this guy, then this guy. Then I'll go back to this one and go to spec. There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're almost done with our brake job. The last thing we need to do is we need to bed in these new brake pads to mate them to the rotors. There's a bunch of videos of how to do this online, but the general gist is we're gonna drive at 40 to 50 roughly miles an hour, find a nice open road with no traffic, and then you're going to slow down almost to a stop, but not to a stop. And then you're gonna repeat that a certain number of times. Again, there's a variety of videos to show you exactly how to do it, but essentially we're just kind of speeding up, slowing down, speeding up, slowing down, not fully locking up the brakes to make sure that the pad material is evenly deposited around the rotor. Once we have that done, then we can call this job done. Hope the video is helpful. All links for the tools and supplies used will be down below in the description. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. See you later.